What is up, boyos?
Hello, boyos.
This is Jake, and we've got another deep dive with Jake happening today, and I'm super excited to have this next person on. The wonderful, talented Lady A. If you haven't heard of her, maybe you heard of her, due to the controversies that happened with her and the band, formerly known as Lady Antebellum, and they changed their name to Lady A. And there was a whole bunch of controversy between Lady A and formerly Lady Antebellum. And that controversy continues to this day. So maybe you heard of her that way. But what I really wanted to do in this interview was, explore who she is as an artist. Go beyond the controversy. Because she is more than that. She is a wonderful musician. And I appreciate her greatly for coming on the show. And before we start the show, just a bit of housekeeping, check out the Jake and Corey podcast every Monday. Check out the Loner Gamecast every Tuesday right here on our YouTube channel. If you're listening on anything else, be it Spotify, be it, we post on Facebook or whatever it is, make sure you check us out. It's all in the same place. You'll find more deep dives there. You'll find more content there. We're also starting another show very soon. On the YouTube channel, we post all sorts of weird stuff from time to time, so definitely check that out as well. Without further ado, welcome Lady A and her producer, John Oliver. Not that one. Welcome to this show. This is a deep dive with Jake. I am joined with the great and wonderful Lady A and John Oliver down here. So how are you doing today?
I'm blessed. I'm
I'm
a little exhausted, but making
well.
it.
You look wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you joining me today. So I like to start these out by asking, for anyone that doesn't know you, hasn't heard of you, how would you describe who you are and what you do?
I am I'd say a neo blues artist because my blues is not the regular blues. My blues has a message to it. So I'm a woman who sings about what is happening in my life. My lyrics that I write to my songs are true to life and what's going on in the world. So there are activism songs, and then my gospel side comes out. So there's always a gospel song on my CDs. So it's a eclectic type of music because I play with some amazing musicians. John Oliver III down there is my Seattle producer, and Dexter Allen is my Mississippi producer. So you put those two young men together, and along with myself and another friend of ours, Roz Royster McCommon, who's from Kansas City but lives here now, we come up with some pretty dynamic music.
Yeah, one of my favorite my favorite artists are always the artists who kind of what I like to call a genre bend a bit.
Yeah.
And I would definitely put you in that category because
Yeah, definitely.
I couldn't just call you blues, I couldn't just call you funk, couldn't just call you soul. So yeah, I totally dig it. How long have you two been working together?
Ooh, for many moons, for about 20 years.
Wow.
Come on board.
It's actually been longer than 20 years. I think I was in the band even before she knew I was there. Because I was the drummer. So, sometimes I remember she'd be like a backup singer for the Sonny Byers review that we were both in. And she'd turn around and go, What are you doing back there?
Yeah. Back in the day, we played in many different bands. And John was one of those drummers who everybody wanted. He's not only my musical coordinator and producer, he is also a music artist in his own right. Gospel music artist, soul artist, he does it all. And singer. He sings, he has a voice alike, and I brag about it all the time. He has a voice alike between Donny Hathaway and Marvin Gaye. You have to hear him sing.
Well, you are a fantastic singer as well. I was actually listening I kind of listened to like all of your albums last night, and
Wow. All in
yeah,
one sitting?
pretty much. I had been listening to them over, the course of.
Hold on. I'm sorry. It's hot in here. I have to turn on the
Oh
fan.
yeah, do what you got to do.
Woo.
But yeah, and they just blew by for me because there's something about your music that just kind of brings a smile to my face. It's just
Aw,
kind of
thank you. That's what I'm hoping.
just kind of makes me want to do a little dance.
Well, what I think is that, when we wake up, every day is different. We're blessed to wake up every day. And so every day is different. Some days I wake up and I listen to classical music. Some days I get up and I listen to some country music. There are days when I wake up and I listen to nothing but blues, because blues is, what I do. And then there's days when I always, not just some days, every day I start out with gospel music. So that is what I put on. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm hoping that there's something on my CDs that touches somebody in some kind of way, according to how they feel that day. Cabbage and Cornbread is a song that John wrote for me a few years ago on the Love Blessing. No, it's not on that CD. Which CD is it on?
How did I get here?
How Did I Get Here CD. And that's about food. I like food, so I do write about food.
I was actually going to bring that up because I did notice that. I noticed that you have quite a few songs that touch on food. I was wondering, like, and I hope that's not weird to bring up, but like, I was just wondering, like, what kind of, as like a kid, were you ever interested in like cooking? Or
No, I used to cook a lot, but the song "Good Music, Good Gumbo" came from. I used to have gumbo parties. Just make gumbo for the band or make gumbo for my musician friends, because when we really got really popular, you don't get to see your friends. I'm either traveling, touring, working, gigging, whatever it was. And so once a year, usually around Christmas time, I'd make this huge pot of gumbo. And we'd invite our friends over to one of my friends' house. And that's where that comes from. I like it. Once a year, I would do that. So Good Music, Good Gumbo came from there. Cabbage and Cornbread came from John about his mom. And,
right.
Well, and really, yeah, all our moms.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if you think about it, think about like the atmosphere when there's cooking going on and there's friends and there's family.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily have to be like the holidays either. Like, the big holidays we all get together, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, but it can just be any time. Like Lady A said, she's had these gumbo parties and people just get together, listen, because when we all just get together to cook and eat and drink and be merry, oh, come on, man. It's the perfect atmosphere, right? Nobody's going to leave there hungry. And if somebody leaves in a bad mood, it's kind of their fault, right? So those are the type of songs we try to write.
I love that. That's such a great way to put it. And when I listen to your music, like that's totally the vibe I get too. Like we're just hanging out, we're having a good time,
Well, most of the time, that's how we write. Even if we're writing separately, we talk about, John will say, so what made you write that line? He drills down, what made you write that line? I don't understand that line. Because just because I understand something, we have our little jokes between ourselves in the band because we've been together for such a long time. But I want it to resonate to people where they understand exactly what I'm talking about. The song, was it That Man? No, not That Man. If You Don't Want It, Don't Waste It, was written by Dexter Allen during a gumbo party that we were having at another artist's house. We were all sitting in the kitchen and he said, look, I got this hook right here. And, we're all sitting in the kitchen, people are eating, and people are everywhere, in the kitchen, in the living room, and, wherever something is going on. And we're all huddled in the kitchen around the table. And he wrote, If You Don't Want It, Don't Waste It, which is an amazing song.
It is.
So that's how we do it.
I also noticed you dropped a new live album just like a month ago, 2 months ago?
I dropped it on my birthday, July 18th. Lady A live in New Orleans. Yeah.
And
I love it. And I gotta say, I think there's certain artists that just lend themselves to playing live, and you are certainly one of them.
Well, God bless you, because that was our first one.
I
The next
I
one
thought it
was
was great
five
because
so better.
I thought it really brought out the energy
Yeah.
of who you are and what your music is.
We had a lot of our friends from Seattle came with us to New Orleans. You know, we just all went down there, and it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot from doing. That's the first time I've done a live CD. I learned a lot from doing that, and I think it's a great CD. We've got some, it's just again really songs from the last for the last 5 albums, and then one new song written by our friend Roz Royster McCommon, Do You Want to Ride, who we're doing a lot more writing with. First time I'm writing with a female writer, so it's fun.
Awesome. So I wanna bring it back all the way to the beginning. What was it that got you into music? And John, you can say for yourself as well if you'd like. Um, I'd love to know, like, what was it? Was it family? Like, was your family musical, or was it just something you stumbled into?
John, go ahead.
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay. Well, for me, it came from my family. My father passed away 5 years ago, but him and my mother were the biggest musical influences, and also my Uncle Willie. So my dad was a keyboard player. He had more of like this jazz gospel background, real heavy jazz and gospel. And my mother also had a gospel background, but it was more on like the gospel hymns, so she played the piano as well. And so I got my keyboard playing and producing from my dad and my mom. My uncle, he had this voice like an angel, right? Real velvet, real smooth. And he actually got offered, I think, a contract at Motown years and years ago, but he turned it down because he said he didn't want to sell his soul to the devil, right? And there's another story for that, but that's another whole nother discussion. But so my music background came from my family, my dad, my mom, my Uncle Willie. My Uncle Willie was a drummer. Always wanted to play the drums. I was not always a good drummer. Now I'm not even good. I just feel like I'm okay. I've been playing for over 30 years, but I'm okay, right? I won't get fired from the gig because I have got fired, right? I have got fired. And I think as musicians, you actually learn from times you get fired, and people are honest with you. They're like, listen, you're just not cutting it, man. I'm sorry, your timing is horrible, and you need somebody to be transparent with you as an artist. So growing up, I had a lot of that. My dad used to check me so many times. You all right. Your voice is okay, but it's not great, right? So, when I met Lady A, I knew her from the 80s. She was a choir director at one of our sister churches. And, I was this up and coming drummer who always got kicked off the drums. So we really started working together in the 90s with this group, Sonny Byers Motown Review. And she was a backup singer. And I was, like I said, the drummer. She didn't even know I was in the band because I was so young,
It's really young.
right. And so that's when we started working together. But we started writing songs together in like I'd say the 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. But we started off in our group doing live shows. We were just this party band, and Lady A would tell you, it was just high energy party, fast dance music. And we do like one slow song that was killer, and then back to party. So it was a lot of fun stuff. And her first CD, Blues in the Key of Me, I think captured how we used to be on stage at this place called the Paragon in Seattle, because it was high energy. And like she said, her sound has always been different. And believe it or not, I've always been a fan of her style, because even when she sang background, she took a different approach to her background notes. When she sang lead, she took a different approach to even doing covers. So I've always been an observer of, her approach to music. And so when we write songs together, I always take that into consideration. Now, I have pitched some songs to her, and she's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Listen, cabbage and cornbread. She wasn't sold on it at first. She was like, I don't know. That's because if you think about it, it's kind of outside of the blues vein, traditional blues. But I was like, no, sis, you can do this. This is you. I'm telling you. And so I actually had to trick her into singing it. I said, when we recorded it, I said, no, don't just listen. Just sit down. Let's take a few rough draft takes. She sat down. And I said, I'm not recording these at all. Just practice it. I was recording them. And one of those recordings is what ended up on the final, and it is killer. So that's kind of my music background.
They do it to me all the time.
I'm glad you recorded it because I love that song. I think it's great.
Do it all the time. Dexter does it too. If I go in the studio, John and Dexter will say, well, no, because I'll say, nah, that's not really how I want to do it. Let's scratch that song because, we go in with tons of songs and try to figure out, what's going to go on the CD. And he'll go, okay, just sing it. I'm not recording you. I should know this by now, right? You would think. But they're always right. They usually are they're right. I enjoy working with them.
Yeah. Just try it out once and then it's on the album.
To answer your question on my behalf, my mom is a gospel singer. My mom is a gospel singer. My father was a drummer. My brother is a drummer. My niece is a singer. She's a very prominent singer right now. Her name is Umi. You can find her. She's trending on Twitter and doing her thing. So I come from a musical background. I've been singing since I was like 5 years old. Probably before that, there's a picture of me like when I was 3, sitting in the vestibule of the church. So I just grew up in church singing. And from there, I was a choir director at 16. Being able to teach parts, I got to travel with the Gospel Music Workshop of America and direct those choirs. I mean, when I go back and I think about all the things I've done, doing these interviews makes you actually have to think about the things that you've done. But it's been like 30-something years and 50 years, and I haven't really had to think about it. I just remembered that about the Gospel Music Workshop of America because I was looking through some things and saw some pictures, So I used to travel a lot directing choirs. From there, I was just a karaoke singer. It was no big deal. I was singing karaoke. And from there, the Sonny Byers Motown Review, I was a backup singer. I did not want people to know who I was just in case I wasn't good. So I had people calling me Lady A.
You were good. You were always good.
I've grown into it. As you get older, your voice changes and the style of the music that you sing, it changes. John can tell you, like he said, we used to be a party band. We got hired to do so many weddings and private parties. I mean, we were the party band. I should have kept that money. We weren't making a lot of money, but I mean, we did really well. And playing at the Paragon, we were there every first Saturday of the month. You could guarantee we were there, and there would be lines like down the block to come and see us. And I mean, they were dancing on the bars and,
Literally.
But even then, when we were doing that music, I wanted to do the blues. Like he said, we'd do one slow song in a 3-hour show. And we get one break. But it was because we were enjoying what we were doing. I was blessed to have the same band for over 10 years, over 12 years. That's unheard of. I had the same band. And so we were family, and it gelled. So when we got on stage, sometimes we play a 2-hour set without a break, without a break and just be going and going and going. But I really always wanted to do blues. I just had to do it my way. I just had to kind of do it my way. And I want people to be inspired and be encouraged by the lyrics. The songs that I write are for a message, Do you want to ride? The Ride. I got a lot of songs like that. Cabbage and Cornbread, like that, John. I'm blessed to have John and Dexter because they know me so well that they know what to write for me when they write a song for me. Because
right.
Yeah.
And think about, so what Lady A sound is, from my point of view, is that we have this gospel soul, jazz, rock, country, kind of backgrounds. And what we wanted to do is challenge ourselves to not write blues on how it is today or even how it was yesterday. We want to pay honor to what it was yesterday. What it is today is whatever, but we want to play what's going to be played tomorrow, right? We want to give blues a little bit of an edge, and it's Lady A's edge. It's her sound. It's great. And you know what I always tell her? I hope that in like 20 years or so, or, we'll hear artists going, hey, she kind of sounds like Lady A, right? Because that's what has to happen. Blues has to continually keep evolving, right? And I love to see, I'm like you, Jake, I love to see artists kind of pushing the envelope, not being afraid to take risks, right? Try it once. If it doesn't work, at least we recorded it, right? And so there's, right? Think about like Jimi Hendrix, right? Jimi Hendrix, some of the stuff he did, there are some young musicians out there right now going, who is this guy, right? And it's blowing their minds. So the same with Lady A. She's her own artist. And when she gets on the stage, I've literally seen her get on the stage with 10 other singers, all powerful. And when she gets on there and takes the mic, it blows. I'm like, wow,
You do have a very distinct voice.
Yes, I do, don't I? All those years of smoking. No. Don't smoke, kids. Don't smoke. Believe me. I quit years ago, but still, I've always had a deep voice. I don't know,
Yeah. It's deeper and rich and it's also a little gravelly sometimes, which adds a really cool element. I'm a huge fan. Yeah.
Thank you. You know what I really like? I like when young people like my music. I've gotten some new fans lately, and a lot of them are young, and it really makes me happy because it means you're listening. And if you, like you said, you listened to it last night, it's like, wow, I love when young people like my music. Excuse me.
Oh yeah, no problem. So it says here that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it said you played in like a group called Lady A and the Baby Blues Funk, and then went solo after that. So
Yeah.
what was the decision to go solo like, and why did you make that decision?
Right before my, I don't know,
50th
birthday. Yeah, before my 50th birthday, we were playing, festivals, and we were doing a lot of stuff. And but I wasn't fulfilled in the music that we were doing. We could do anything. We were a cover band. We were doing cover songs. We would make up songs on stage. Our the first CD that we don't talk about came out in 2006. It was called Can I Get My Breakfast? That CD came out in 2006. It was one of them underground CDs. There was an advisory on it. That's what I was doing back then. Right before I turned 50, I wanted to do blues. And I even had thought about stopping singing. And it was John and our bass player then, who has passed on since, Gary Smith. John has always been my cheerleader in the band. Even when I was singing stuff I didn't really want to sing, kind of thing. And John said, you need a CD. And he had been saying that before that, but we were so busy and we were always gigging, So finally he said, no, he said, you need a CD on your own. You need to go solo. And I was like, I'm not going solo. And before I knew it, Gary had encouraged me to write a song, and I wrote a couple of songs on that CD, and they had written all this music for me. And they were just like, just come on. And that's where Blues in the Key of Me came from.
Right.
Yeah. And when I heard that song, that's one of my favorite songs still to this day, Blues in the Key of Me. And it's grown over time, how I sing it, just because I enjoy it so much more. Have a new appreciation for it.
Awesome. So it says you were born in Seattle, and you have a lot of songs about Seattle. You also have quite a few songs, and you say, like, Mississippi is my second home. And
Go to Mississippi
so
quite a bit.
so how did that come to be? Like, how did Mississippi become your second home,
Well,
I guess?
I used to travel with the Delta Music Experience. I wanted to at one point learn the background of the industry itself, like how to run a festival, like how to what artists do in the green room kind of thing. Because I was this artist that had a band, and we traveled, but I wanted to see what it was like, and so I had an opportunity to travel with DME, and they went to Mississippi. They did the Delta tour. And then I was introduced to I was introduced to Bobby Rush, even though Bobby Rush, I was a big fan of his even before the tour. So to actually meet him, because he was my hero of blues, if you say, excuse me, as far as men are concerned. Excuse me. So we did that for quite a while. I did that for a few years. Well, the one tour that we went on, the band quit on me. The band didn't, I was supposed to sing and the band didn't show up. And what happened was—
It wasn't us. It wasn't us.
No, it wasn't my band. It
There
was
was a band down there.
we were playing Clarksdale, and this band was supposed to play for me. And I think that the music was so intimidating to them that I kept in touch with them and said, now, do you have it? And this was the Blues in the Key of Me CD. And I think the music was so intimidating that they quit like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days before the actual show. So Bobby Rush came to me and he said, don't worry about it. I got you. And he called Dexter Allen. And Dexter drove from Jackson, Mississippi up to Clarksdale and learned, I don't know, I think he learned three or four songs in a day. We just sat and he just played the guitar. And I sang the songs to him and he played. And after that, he became, before that. We met him before that, didn't we? No.
That was it.
Because then he came and he played on the blues.
How Did I Get Here?
Oh, he played on the How Did I Get Here CD. I'm telling you, it's so long ago.
How Did I Get Here?
Thank you. That's what I need you for. On the How Did I Get Here CD. And he was amazing. And he became our Mississippi brother and Mississippi producer. And we've worked with him. I've worked with him ever since. Somebody who came up because Bobby Rush called him and came up and played for me. And we have been friends ever since.
Right. So she does a lot of recording down there as well.
Yeah. So I recorded Mississippi.
Right.
The last 2 CDs.
2 CDs, right. Yeah. And Dexter, How Did I Get Here? Dexter Allen, after she had met him, and she told me, I met this, guitar player. He's a producer. He's a musician. He's an artist. And she said, we got to have him on the CD. And so I heard some YouTube clips of him. And that's when we were writing My Kind of Blues on the How Did I Get Here CD. And so we talked and we said, hey, let's have Dexter play like the lead guitar. Cause that song is like a throwback to kind of like a John Lee Hooker style of blues, And so we wrote that song and we sent it to Dexter at the end. I think Lady A had laid her vocals down and everything else. We sent it to Dexter. He put his guitar on it and it's like he kicked that song off the cliff. Just right. I mean, he just kicked it way overboard, but it's a great honor and throwback to that old style of blues, but with that kind of modern grit to it. And then Lady A's voice, I don't know how we got that tone, but I don't think you were smoking then, but we got a little bit of that grit. The grit. Ain't that what James Brown said? You need the grit.
Yeah. I said I need some grits.
I think that's a perfect segue into, I wanted to ask you, who would you consider your influences? And, not just who influences you with the music that you make, but just as a human and, and even if you want to go into non-musical influences, just your influences in life. And
that's easy. For one thing, John and Dexter influenced me. John especially.
Because he's in the chat, right?
Say that. No, I'm kidding. Because he's not only is he my producer, he's like my little brother. We are family, been family for a long time. He's a pastor. We pray together. He's my best friend. I just, he influences me and encourages me, and it's a blessing to have him in my life. So he's one of my influences, just as a person. As a musician, he influences me. He and Dexter, they always make me go take that one step that I don't generally want to take. But they do, they encourage me, and I appreciate them for that. My musical influences have always been Mahalia Jackson is my gospel, that's my go-to. Thornette, I was getting ready to say my other friend, but not her. Denise LaSalle is my, it was when she was alive, and I'm so glad I got to meet her. Rosetta Tharpe, absolutely love her. And Bobby Rush. Those are the people that I grew up listening to. My grandmother would listen to Bobby Rush. My grandmother would listen to Mahalia Jackson, to Denise LaSalle. That's how I got introduced to Denise LaSalle. And then there are local artists or national artists that I really, really like. I love Shakura Saeda out of Canada. Kelly Lee Evans. If you have not heard Kelly Lee Evans, she reminds me of Sade, but different, because she has a classical background and she is amazing. Listen to her. She's from Canada also. And, I'm a Kev Mo fan. I love Kev Mo. That's my guy. If I ever get to meet him, hi, Kev. And a big influencer of mine is Betty LaVette. Absolutely love Betty LaVette. You have to read about her struggle and her music. I love her lyrics. So I'm listening to a lot of Betty LaVette right now. So that's all I can think of right now. Those are.
I think that's a great list. How about you, John? What are some of your influences?
Just a few of mine. I think the Bible is probably my biggest influence, musically and lifestyle wise. Because it covers everything, every different kind of emotion that I've ever written about or ever experienced, whether I'm playing the drums or the keyboards or singing or writing lyrics, or, Lady A and I are working on a song, or Lady A, me, Dexter, or Roz. No matter who I'm working with, the Bible has been probably the biggest influence on pretty much everything. And with that said, I love just multiple artists. Like Lady A said, I love her because she challenges me. I love Dexter. He challenges me, and we challenge one another. Right. And, the Bible, though, biggest influence.
Well, that's the best answer you could have given, I think.
No, why did I think of that? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, just a few more questions, and then we'll wrap this up here. But it says here that you host 2 music shows on a radio station. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm the DJ, the host DJ for on NWCZ online radio, Northwest Convergence.
Okay.
Oklahoma. And I've just been asked to join the KRME radio station FM. So that's going to be something I'm going to be starting soon. I'm not sure if I'm going to wait till the new year but I've just been asked to do that. I always wanted to do radio. And one day, I had said it one day while I was on tour. I was down in Portland, Oregon, and I'll never forget, Oogie Richardson heard me say, one day I'm going to be on the radio. I was just saying it, right? And he said, you want to be on the radio? I said, yeah. And about a year later, he called me up and asked me about being on Northwest Convergence. And so I have Lady A's Black and Blues, which is on every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then on Sunday mornings from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., I have Lady A's Gumbo and Gospel. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Great
Gumbo
names.
Been on now for 5 years. I just got my little 5 years. Yay. Yeah. So I like to play local, national artists. I really try to give women a platform. because I feel that women are not played enough. I think that especially women of color don't get blues played enough. And so I play a lot of women. So I'll have like once a month, I'll have nothing but women on. And you'll get to meet artists like the ones I'm talking about that we don't really hear here in Seattle. Like Shakura Saeda and Kelly Lee Evans, Dion Taylor. There's a bunch of women out there that are, Nellie Tiger Travis out of Chicago, and a bunch of women that we really need to hear. So I do that like once a month.
Awesome. Yeah, you are big into activism, and anyone who has seen or heard you on anything knows this, or even listens to your music. Obviously, you're just talking about how you want to spotlight women, and that's very important. Also, the racial aspect of everything going on right now. I know you were kind of caught up in some of the controversy there. We don't have to go into that too much though. But you got, if you want to, I'm sure like if someone wants to know about that stuff, they can look up
They can read about that stuff.
countless other interviews. But I just kind of wanted to, shout out how wonderful I think it is, and how you've kind of been a guiding light for some people through everything going on. And it's been a crazy year, but if you're feeling down, a great way to bring yourself up is to listen to some of your music, and I'm definitely gonna check out your radio shows now.
Please do. Right now we're on summer break. I always take a break during the summer because normally I'd be traveling, but
right.
I still take the break because I need a break in the summertime. But I'll be back in September. September 5th is the first show. Black and Blues will be back on,
next week.
Yeah, next Saturday. Ooh, better get that show together.
Perfect. So I just want to thank you for coming on. If you want to, do all your plugs, do all that stuff, feel free.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead.
Sure. So for all new artists, or if you have new CD or new music coming out, and we're all working from home now, please send me your music. Send it to Lady A White at gmail.com, which is LADIA White at gmail.com. If you want to purchase my music, t-shirts, we got all kinds of stuff going on. You can go to my Facebook, not my Facebook, my website, which is LadyABabyBlues.com. That's LadyABabyBlues.com. You can purchase my CDs there. If you are into activism, if you want to be a part of my Ladies Luncheon, I have a Ladies Luncheon coming up on September 26th. And it's going to be via Zoom, and it's going to be amazing. I have Shakura Saeda, Queen Carter, Precious Coleman out of Texas, Ann Harris from Chicago. There's going to be some amazing presenters, some great music, even a little fashion show. Just send me an email to Lady A White, LADIA White at gmail.com. And for activism and information on The Truth is Loud, which is my single that came out on June 27th, there's an activism page that I host, which is called The Truth is Loud. And you can go to thetruthisloud.info. That's it.
Awesome. John, Lady A, I appreciate you coming on the show. It's been a blast.
Thanks so much for having us, Jay.
Hope to hear from you again. Can't wait till you guys can start playing live again, and I can go outside and go to a show.
We have a show coming up.
No way.
We do. No audience, but we have a show coming up. We have what's going to be called pop-up concerts, so you never know where we're going to be. So be looking for us on the Facebook page. That there's one coming up soon. And then on September 19th, we'll be playing the Supper Club. It's the Paragon. We're going to go back to where we started with the Baby Blues Funk Band. We're going to be playing the Paragon on September 19th. If you wanted, they're having what it's called a supper club from 5, I think it's from 4 to 6 or from 5 to 6. You can come pick up your food. You can order your food, pick it up. We'll be playing. You can't come inside, but you can watch from outside. That's September 19th at the Paragon, and we'll begin our set at 7:00.
Well, awesome.
Yeah. So thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Check out the Jake and Corey podcast every Monday. Check out the Loner Gamecast every Tuesday right here on our YouTube channel. If you're listening on anything else, be it Spotify, be it, we post on Facebook or whatever it is, make sure you check us out. It's all in the same place. You'll find more deep dives there. You'll find, more content there. We're also starting another show very soon. On the YouTube channel, we post all sorts of weird stuff from time to time, so definitely check that out as well.